So, imagine this. Animal Crossing New Horizons comes out in a couple weeks and you're excited to play it. Not only that, but you're excited to play it with your best friends, Bob and Jesus. You've watched the Nintendo Direct, but you're still unsure about the multiplayer component. What can you do? Where can you go? And where the hell is Brewster? Even if you feel like you know everything to do with multiplayer in Animal Crossing, there might be something that you didn't know. So, grab a cup of tea, sit back, and enjoy this video about everything you need to know about multiplayer. There are two main methods of multiplayer in New Horizons: party play and online/local wireless. Gameplay in each is universal with the exception of some limitations in place per mode, but we'll mention that when they come up. While these are the actual multiplayer components of the game, I think it's important to quickly discuss a feature first that will probably be more common than you think, especially among families, and is what I'm calling multi-account islands. This feature allows multiple accounts on a single system to all use and live on the same island. Whether this is a handy or annoying feature isn't really the point of the video, but it's very easy to see how this can be quite an annoying case, especially for people who like to have their own island. Up to 8 different accounts on the same system are allowed to be used on a single island, with there only being one island per system. Each of the possible 8 residents are able to eventually build their own house on the same island. That means that not one person is the dictator of what happens on the island, regardless of how many islands are on the Switch, which is one, like I said. Alright? Of the 8 residents that live on the island, only 4 are allowed to be invited and participate party play at any given time due to the limitations of that mode. And that's it for that feature. And again, while that isn't exactly a core multiplayer mode, it does have some effect on at least one of the multiplayer components of the game, which is the next one, party play. This is one of the most basic multiplayer modes in New Horizons, and it's essentially the old school co-op version of multiplayer, where up to 4 of the island's local residents, as mentioned in the previous section, can be invited to play in the same session. In party play, there is 1 leader and up to 3 followers. The initial leader is the resident who initiated party play, while the invitees are the followers. Leaders have special privileges over followers. They are able to carry out game-halting actions such as shopping, crafting, or inviting players. But don't worry, the leader can be changed at any point of time to any of the other followers by simply pressing a button. That means everybody gets their turn at talking to Isabelle, the Queen of Animal Crossing. It's also important to mention that anything that followers pick up during this mode is sent to the recycling box in the Resident Services building for individual access later on. Unfortunately, at the moment, we're not sure, or at least I'm not sure, if these items are available on a per resident basis, or if anyone who lives on the island can pick them up later on, which, if they can, that can cause a lot of arguments amongst families who may or may not already have an issue with sharing in the household. But we're not talking about that. That's completely different. Let's just, okay, I need to stop. Right, let's just carry on. Now for the main multiplayer component of New Horizons, online and local play. Each method works in the same way in terms of invitations and gameplay, but with 2 differences. The first being the type of connectivity. Local play uses Nintendo Switch's local wireless to connect and invite residents of other Nintendo Switch systems as long as they are within the local connectivity range of the host's system in real life. You can compare it to how multiplayer worked for most games on the Nintendo DS. The second difference is that local play does not require a Nintendo Online subscription as far as I'm aware, whereas online play does. So if you want to avoid paying money for a subscription in order to visit your distant friend from across the world, you better start learning how to move tectonic plates. However, both methods of play allow up to 8 consecutive players to play at the same time in comparisons to party play's 4 players. In both of these versions, the owner of the island can distribute permissions to visitors that allow them to perform island-altering actions. This system is called Best Friends. The Best Friends permission isn't granted by default in order to prevent griefing and accidental alterations of another person's island. But once given to another player, it allows them to perform these sorts of actions as if it were their own island. There is still one crucial element of multiplayer we haven't mentioned yet, which brings everything together and supports more important multiplayer features. That's right, Dodo Airlines. Dodo Airlines is essentially the multiplayer hub of Animal Crossing. It's here where players can invite or travel to their friends' islands via online or local play. Inside lives a creature called Orville, who looks very dashing, who will be happy to help you perform these actions that you need in order to begin multiplayer modes. Again, this is where you'll initiate online or local play, but there is another feature available here that we still haven't mentioned yet, and that's temporary island invites, otherwise known as Dodo codes. Dodo codes are used to invite randomers who are not yet friends to come and join you on your island in a one-time use temporary code. Once the multiplayer session has ended, the Dodo code will no longer work and you will require to return to Orville in order to create another. A final feature of Dodo Airlines which is good to mention is the ability to create and send mail not only to island residents, but to friends in other islands. Not only are you able to send text, but you can send money and items. Gone are the days of pen pals, here are the days of packet pals. Finally, the last quick feature of multiplayer that we should mention is Nook Link, a mobile app service that links to your game session and allows players to communicate via text messages sent through the game in the form of speech bubbles or voice chat handled directly through the mobile app. This service also releases on the same day that the game releases, which is the 20th of March 2020. And that's it! Not only do you know everything you need to know to start multiplayer when the game releases, but now you also know my previous video was incorrect. I'll even say it for the record, Animal Crossing New Horizons isn't bad. It's terrible!